Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. Good evening. uh, how is everyone doing? Welcome to the live discussion of our next book, Parable of the Talents. This was not the book for the uh, book club itself, but we read the first book and then we decided to read also the second one and have it as an extra book club book. So here we are discussing the second book. I have this one from library, that's why it's so shiny. Um, because yeah, I did not buy this one, but I have this from library, and yeah, I finished this one about a week ago. We were supposed to have the live show last week, but because I was sick, I had to postpone it. And now it's still like this is going to be the first trial of my voice. So we'll see how it goes when I talk so much. I might have to mute myself or something at times. So I apologize for that in advance if that happens. But yeah, I'm still not 100%. And so we'll see what happens, but I should be able to manage. It just might take a little bit of you know extra care for my voice. So how are you all doing? I see guys are popping in. Hello, Natalie, Judith. Hello, everyone. Ivka, Denise, Ewald. So many of you. Larissa. Wow. Hello, Elena. I finished this book a few months ago, so let's see what I can remember. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I finished it a week ago, so we'll see what I can remember. But I think mine has, wait, does it have a, no, it doesn't. I thought maybe it had like a book club guide or something in the end, but no, it doesn't actually. So never mind. For me it's been about 3 weeks, but I had to grab it and take a look to remember better. Yeah, just popping by to say hello and hope you're feeling better. Thank you very much. Hi. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, I'm feeling okay now. I'm getting a headache, but I don't think that's the flu related. I think that's just the kind of day it's been. But I'm feeling good now. It's just still the afterwards, the body is still trying to go back to normal. So my voice is a little bit shaky sometimes, but I'm good otherwise. Thank you. We all came to hang out for a bit. I appreciate it. How many of you have read it? Have all of you read it? I don't think so. We have Natalie, Elena, who I know read it. Ewald read it, I know. I think Larissa as well. Um, I don't know if all of others as well. Haven't read the book, just wanted to pop in and say hi. Nice, hi. There you go. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds like a really good series. Yeah, I mean, but there are only two. There is no third one, unfortunately. Even though, I mean, I don't think even the first one needed a sequel. I'm glad it had it. I think it definitely expanded the story in like a meaningful way. But I didn't feel after the first book like, oh, I need to know what's next. I think it would have been okay, but even now also it feels like okay. But even if it had third one, I'm sure it still would be very interesting. Glad you feel better. Thank you. I reread it. Okay, I have read it. Happy you feel better. Thanks. No, sorry, just want to see how you're doing. Yeah, thanks. No worries. No need to apologize. That's fine. I was just curious because I was surprised. Like so many people popped in, and I didn't know all of you read it. So yeah, not all of you read it. Haven't read it. No. Okay. Yes, I heard from Emily Fox that it was unfinished series, but it's still very good. Yeah. Yeah. I believe the author planned 5 books, but she died before she could write them. Yeah. 5. I heard about 3, but yeah. Wait, let me try something. No. Is this too bad because the light really is hurting my eyes? I know it's much better with the light on, but it is hurting my eyes. So if you guys don't mind, I wait. Will it be better? Maybe this is better. So we don't see the turtles, but you can see me better with the light off, so it's better for me. If that's okay. Yeah, I think this is okay. I can still see you clearly. Okay, that's good. Because I know it can get a bit dark, but yeah, like usually I can deal with the light, but now it's really hurting my eyes. So see, I'm still not 100%, or I'm getting a migraine. One of the two, could be both. 5. Well, I agree. Though I didn't urgently need the second one, and I'm content with the 2 we have. Yeah, exactly. Visuals are totally fine. Okay, thank you. Don't mind at all. Your eyes are more important. I'm not sure about that, you know. But yeah, thanks. Okay, good. Um, yeah, I don't think we can talk about this book too much without like spoilers because it's the second one in the series. But we can say in general what the series is about. I didn't grab the first book; it's over there, so I'm not gonna get it now when I settle down here. Um, but yeah, it's basically a sci-fi book where it was written in 1990s, and it's telling a story about a world at 2024, 2027 and such in the US especially. And yeah, we see basically how the society collapsed and how it's just kind of like this kind of groups of people get together so they can survive better because there is no water, no food, like or lack of it. So the people who have a house and who are able to get some food and water, they really need to like do guard and nightly guards and stuff like that, because otherwise it's very dangerous and these other people can come and try to get some water and food. So it is very much related to climate, because this is definitely like climate disaster kind of thing. And we follow our main character Olamina, who lives in one of like better neighborhoods, and they have this wall around the neighborhood, so they are kind of protected. But at one point she is forced to leave, and she also is preparing for it. So it is very interesting to follow her on this journey outside and where she's going and what she comes across and what's happening in the world. And it's very interesting book. It's kind of like, you could say, post-apocalyptic really, but it's so well done. I have to say, after I read the first one, before I started the second one, uh, there was at a book club, for G's book club actually, there was this book pick. It was called The Book of Unnamed Midwife, who it felt, or like the book, it felt it was very similar to Parable of the Sower in a way, like in the theme, post-apocalyptic, many people died, um, people are hiding from each other, attacking each other. It's a whole thing, but I hate the way it's done. And that just made me appreciate Parable of the Sower so much more. And then reading this one, I was just like, it feels so good to read a well written book, like honestly. And I don't know, it just, great book, very well done. Um, it feels like back in the day when the book didn't have to be different to be good, meaning this book of Unnamed Midwife is kind of written in like a diary form, and I don't like the way it's done. Like usually I like diary kind of style, like The Martian, for example, was great, but this one I don't think it was done very well. I'm not done with it yet, but I don't know, I don't like it. And this one, in comparison, like simple writing but so good. So yeah, that was quite a tangent, but just wanted to say that I feel like this could be quite some canon in apocalyptic science fiction for adults when we don't have like Maze Runner or whatever. But Very, very good. And I would definitely recommend everyone to read it. I think in general people would enjoy it. It's not like very niche. But Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo. There's only two. I could totally do it like this. Where is just to take the screenshot? We can come back to it. I agree. It's very well written. It flows so easily to read, and it's beautiful at the same time. Exactly. Um, it is like very exactly easy to read, very simple, but yet very captivating and comfortable. But again, I don't know if that's just exactly the writing style I like and that suits me, or if it's just like in general it's well written, because we all like different things. So I don't know. But I think we can jump into the spoiler part now. So I'm going to find the spoiler banner. So if anybody pops in, they know we are talking about spoilers. And for you who haven't read it and would like to and don't want to get spoiled, this is a call for you to maybe turn it off and come back when you have read it. Um, tea is coming, floating. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for stopping by and saying hi. If you're leaving, if you're not leaving, you're very much welcome to stay and listen to the spoiler report as well, if you don't mind. So uh, totally up to you. Bye to everyone if you're leaving. Okay, I'll hop off then and watch back when I've read it. Yeah, that sounds good. Hope you enjoy. Perfect timing, right? Yes. Literal tea is coming. Oh, I love that. Very nice mug. I need to get myself a Hendrik. Yeah. It's nice to have a Hendrik. But yeah, this is his mug. It's very nice. I like how like it's simple, cozy. Today all day feels like autumn, so this is perfect. All day it's been raining and cloudy and dark, and I was baking and diamond painting, and I just felt like, oh, I can't wait for autumn to come, because it sure feels like autumn is here. But not yet. But yeah, I've got tea, so go get yourself tea as well if you don't have one yet. It's hot. And we can start. I did not prepare much like questions or like what to discuss, but sounds like an amazing day. Yeah, it was very good. It was great, and I've been reading all day. I finished one book, and I plan to read one more, but it's a short one, and finish another one for the amazing readathon. So after this is wrapped up, I go right back to reading. So late night for me today. But um, what did we think about Parable of the Talents? It is a sequel. We already talked about the first one. We all said, I think we enjoyed it. Probably some of us more than others, but overall enjoyed it very much. Um, this one, if I were to say, I think I might have enjoyed it, or like I actually enjoyed it a bit more than the first one, which I feel is not very common for me to enjoy a sequel more than the first one. Um, or maybe it was just better timing for it. I wasn't as hurried maybe with it, but I feel like I enjoyed it more. How it very subtly investigated the way the society works and consequences of actions, and um, yeah, how potentially a society in apocalypse could work. And I feel like it's very accurate, considering history repeats, so it felt like there was something taken definitely from history. as in like that did happen in the past, and definitely some things that have been happening recently, not exactly, but to some degree. So it felt very like accurate. It felt very accurate to what could potentially happen. And it's scary, but I mean, it did happen at some point, some of it. So very interesting. I loved it. More reading for me after this too, yeah. Yeah. Octavia E. Butler, let me write a dystopian book in the 90s with racist fudges getting to power using a slogan, conservatives today. Great idea. Yeah. I don't think conservatives today do exactly the same thing as it happened in this book. You could definitely sense the same. Yeah, isn't there was actually a sentence, "Make America Great Again," and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like that was something. Like, is it actually inspired by a book? The slogan, insane. But I mean, clearly this is not happening today. What was in the book, but maybe in 10 years, as the book suggests, predicts. Hopefully not. But yeah, it was scarily close. I did like it, but that slogan gave some whiplash with today's political setting. Yeah, definitely, definitely. But I appreciated that much more for it, actually. I enjoyed this one too. I think the thing I liked the most was the different POVs. These literally added new layers to the story. Yes, absolutely. Um, who did we have? We had point of view of the daughter, Olamina, Marcus. Did we also have Bankola? I think so. So we had four, but yeah, it definitely added to it, and it was very well done overall. I enjoyed all the different POVs for sure. Yes, it hit kind of close to home. Yeah, I enjoyed this one as well, but was way heavier subject by. Yeah, definitely was. Yeah, you could probably say that. Yeah, it was heavier subject wise, as in the first one there is a lot of death in the first one, like in general, and violence, but in this one there is like slaves. So yeah, definitely heavy topics. True, it was heavier. It involved more the great picture than just the story of a few characters that made it more complex. Absolutely. um I do like how they had like different religions, and they all thought they were the like they were good, but neither of them was. Or I mean, I don't know. Like, I like how it portrayed that they both thought they were doing the right thing, while one of them definitely had some investigation to be done, and the other one was like, I saw no harm, but it was sketchy. So it was very interesting to see how they were just so convinced. And that's just how it is today. Everybody is so convinced of their truth, and if somebody disagrees, people just get mad. So that was very interesting. I enjoyed that. It also felt heavier because these slave and assault things happened to our main character from both books. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But also, actually, was I the only one? But did the slave, or like the reason for the education camps, that seemed very similar to the indigenous schools they had in Canada, especially, where they just took the children from the natives and put them in schools to educate them, but also to kind of change their culture, you could say. Even though I don't think we read The Right to Be Called, and it was not everywhere like that, and all schools like that, but many of them were. So it felt very much the same. I just wonder if Octavia E. Butler knew about it, or if this is some of like a creation, and then it just happened to be true as well. I don't know. Yes, it did. Yes, I was thinking about that too. The difference being them taken away from the families and being adopted. Yeah. Um, but I think they did that to indigenous kids as well. They took them away from the families and either had them in the boarding schools, or I think maybe some of them also were put up for adoption. No, I'm not sure. I'm not very much like educated on that in that area, but I think. But yeah, it was similar then, similar to the camps in China today. Okay, I did not know that was happening in China today. I mean, not surprised. But yeah, so that was very interesting, and I would really like to know if Octavia E. Butler knew about it and just kind of like recreated it in the book. Like, yeah, that's gonna happen to just like random people, or um, or if it was, I don't know. I would like to know a lot to get educated more about. Yes, definitely. That is not a difference. That is what happened to a lot of indigenous people across the nations. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Um, so yeah, anything else that was some like a specific thing to point out? Um, there is one thing, but I think we should leave that for the end because it was at the end of the book. But what did we think of Marcus and him trying to be a pastor or becoming like the best preacher or pastor or whatever, the most famous one, and how stubborn he was when Olamina was trying to talk to him? I felt a little bit frustrated with that. Actually, maybe that was one part that I would like discussed a bit more, because they were very close when they were kids. Then he happened to become a slave. She saved him, and then he decides to leave and become this preacher and can't like stand her anymore. And it feels like, wouldn't he have maybe a little bit more perspective, given that she saved him from slavery and helped him to get better? Like, I don't understand why he was so bitter about it, about what she did. Like, what she did to him was like kind of awful, with the thing like she set him up for failure, but he could have also understood why she did it. Like, why was he so bitter about it? I don't understand why he was so mean to her, why he just kind of like blocked her out. That felt a little uncalled for me. I did not really understand that. He is blind to what the church is actually doing. He was willingly ignoring it. Yes, definitely. um she told him and he was like, nah, you're lying. But like, why would she be lying? um Maybe he suspected that she wanted to ruin his religion, but I don't think she ever actually tried to do that, or mentioned, or even thought that she wanted to ruin Christianity. She just wanted to spread her own, like they both can live at the same time. Like, I didn't get that feeling. Like, why was he so defensive? I don't know. That felt a little strange to me. He wanted to be like his father, but he was easily manipulated by the man in power. Yeah, I guess. So he wanted to get power. Is that why he just completely blocked her out, because she was threatening his potential success? Oh, that was hard to read. I mean, I can somewhat see how he got to believe the lies he's been told, and the ignoring part was maybe a way for him to deal with what he experienced. But it felt really strange for him to go so much against his sister. Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand how he would not know what they were doing and what was happening. That's like that. I have no problem with, or like I am not surprised that he didn't know or didn't want to know. That's very understandable. That's okay. I think that's like a great description of a flaw humans have, and that's okay. But I am baffled by the willingness to just hate her and just so disregard her completely when she told him that she was like enslaved and for over a year, and he's like, like I didn't understand that part. Like, sure, she hurt him, but she also saved his ass. Like, well, I don't know, that was a little strange for me. Also telling the daughter that her mom was dead even though he knew she was alive. Yes, yeah, that pissed me off. It was familiar to black Republicans today. Now it is the others who are wrong. They treat me, a loyal follower, the right way. Delusional. Um, yeah, I guess in a way. Um, maybe. Like, yeah, I understand the being like being ignorant when so much is at stake for you. Like, that's absolutely understandable situation or understandable reaction that I'm not questioning. But yeah. Yes, the thing in the end made me really angry. That was so out of line and honestly felt very selfish. He just wanted her to himself. Yes, exactly. I agree. He wanted the power, he wanted to be a preacher and have the esteem, but he was also that classical patriarchal man and couldn't be second fiddle to his sister. Okay, maybe. Yeah. But again, I did not get that from the book. So I think that was one thing that I didn't like, that it wasn't properly explained. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with what he did or like how he behaved if he had more insight into his brain, and we did even get his point of view, so we could have gotten a couple more pages just exploring this part as well. I feel like that's what I was missing, because as you said, like, it would make sense, but I didn't get the feeling reading the book. So yeah, but it could be. It felt like he found something to hold on to and got really in defense mode to push anything away that gave him at least a little bit security. The only way I can explain that is a trauma reaction. Yeah, actually, this is the yeah, this is, I think, exactly what it was. I think this, I agree with this one more than with this one, actually. That he was a patriarchal man who couldn't stand a woman being in charge. I don't think that, I didn't get that feeling. I think I got this more, that he felt safe in being a preacher, in having something important. And then she kind of came and he felt like she just came to ruin it for him. And then he wouldn't know what to do with himself again. And he would kind of lose his home that he created. So yeah, I guess that could be, yeah, that I agree with, but still it just feels a bit like we're just guessing. So, but I think that's a good point, and I agree with that. Like, that would be my feeling as well, but I wanted more there. Um, Anyway, that's Marcus. So there we agree. I think, yeah. Then we had this one thing where Bankole was trying to convince Olamina to go into the other village to be safer, and she didn't want to go. What did we think of that? Was she being selfish? Was she being idealist? Was she just a career woman trying to achieve something? What did we think of that? The religion and preaching is also very familiar for him because their father was a preacher. I also think that's part of the reason why. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he was trying to protect the peace of the family, I imagine. He does join a group where women's only role is to be a mother, so it is kind of both. Oh yeah, it was there that yeah, women are not supposed to like talk or do anything. They're just supposed to be at home. Yeah, right. Could be. Yeah. My mom called. Sorry for the sudden silence. No worries. Um, yeah, we're just discussing random things. I kind of think she was being a bit selfish, but I totally understand why she didn't want to give up what she has grown. Yes, I actually 100% agree with that. I do agree she was a little bit selfish, that she didn't want to go. I felt sorry for Bankola. He was trying really hard to make her safe, but also she felt responsible for the entire community. Probably that's what I got like a feeling from it, that she felt responsible for the community and didn't just want to ditch them for something safer and leave them to fend for themselves. um, so I understand, exactly. So I understand both of them. I understand both Olamina and Bankola and why he wanted to go and why she wanted to stay. I thought that was also very interesting conversation, and how they were talking about it and discussing it back and forth. I love the way the book was written, and with the, like, if she was it from the point of view of the daughter, that if she left, they wouldn't be there for what happened next or something like that. But she was selfish and she stayed, and then Bankole got killed. So it was hard. It was hard, but it was a little bit like, at the same time it feels like maybe she could have given it a little bit more thought. Like, I am not surprised that the daughter thought that the earth seed was her first child, not the daughter, because it didn't even seem like she gave it a thought at all. Like, she was like, no, I'm staying. Like, there is absolutely no chance I would go anywhere. Like, she didn't even discuss it. She didn't even give it any thought. She was like, no, I'm staying. And like, no second thought to the safety of her child or of husband. It was just like, no, if we die, it's meant to be. If we don't die, it's meant to be. Like, a little fanatic, I would say. I sympathize with her daughter where she says that her mom only truly cared about Orosit, but she didn't see the love that Olamina had for her before she was taken away, and that she didn't want. Waiting for the second part of the comment. Uh, want to stop looking for her daughter, and I get why she gave up looking for when Marcus told her that her daughter was dead, and that when Lauren was old enough, the media just showed her mother as, um, yeah, as a bad guy, right? But yeah, I definitely is only caring for Earthseed. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It was definitely understandable for Doctor to think that the mother didn't care about her. That's another thing I wanted to discuss, but we'll get there. The meeting in the end, that was very interesting, I felt like, but we'll get to it. But I absolutely agree. um, I think it is very understandable that the daughter was a little bitter towards her. She was being a bit naive and idealistic, but the city wouldn't be that much safer, and she was too attached to her work and community. Yes, 100%. If I were a follower and the founder was leaving to live in town because it's safer, I would be like, what the yes, 100%. Absolutely. I was thinking the same. Like, you stay because we as a community, or like they as a community, believe in something, work towards something, and then the boss of the community goes somewhere else because it's safer, is like, okay, I'm out. So the entire community would fall apart and all of the people would be less safe. Even though, considering what happened later, I wonder if they would have been safer if everybody just left, and if they kind of like broke it. But I guess it worked in the long term, right? Like what we saw, um, 40 years later. But yeah, the daughter was also partially brainwashed by her uncle. Yeah, that is also true. Yes, that. I don't even know why Bankola thought she'd do that, actually. This was her life project. No way to give that up. Yes. Yep. But she thought her daughter was dead. Yeah. Yeah, she did. Yeah. So I think Bankola never actually understood what Earthseed meant to Olamina. I think he always kind of just went with it because he liked her, he cared for her, he wanted to protect her. I don't know if he ever like actually loved her. I think he just wanted to protect this smart ass girl. Man being protective. That feeling kind of kicked in, I guess. Um, but I don't think he actually ever cared or believed in Earthseed whatsoever. Uh, Not in the first book, and definitely not in the second book either, when he was trying to convince her to go away. So I wonder how did that even work between them, because he didn't believe in everything she believed. So that's a little like check in situation that they should have discussed. But yeah, interesting. That was definitely like, what do you say, dilemma, moral dilemma, what to do. So that was for sure interesting discussion. I think he underestimated how much he meant it because she was so young. To be frank, the age difference gave me a little bit of an ick in the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think in the second book it wasn't as obvious, or it wasn't as frequently mentioned, at least. But it felt like she matured a little bit. So it felt a little bit better. But yeah, definitely gave the ick. And yeah, he definitely underestimated it. He probably thought it's just some crazy thing that will storm over, and they can move on. But that didn't happen. Um, so yeah, that was interesting. But the big thing, or like the thing that gave me the ick, and I was just like, this book is so good and so awful at the same time. The meeting in the end of Olamina and Lauren. Um, I don't think it could have been more awkward or cringe or just plain wrong. But I loved the way it was done. I loved how tense and awkward it was, but it was so awkward. So, what did you guys think of that? I think it worked because the everyday life was survival and growing the farm and the community. I guess it just didn't create that much problem in their relationship before. Yeah, I think so. So they focused on making the community work, right? Like the farm and the community. And if Earthseed was helping, then that's fine. Like, he didn't really care. Like, I don't think he like despised it. It's just he didn't care for it at all. He just went with the flow. He was that kind of guy who just if woman wants to do this, so we do that. Like, I don't care. I'll just follow. He was the golden retriever husband. um But I'm joking now, of course. But he was probably that, like, um, just trying to help people, trying to build a community, make everybody feel safe and be safe and educate and stuff. And he didn't really care for Earthseed, but didn't care enough to, or like, yeah, he didn't care against it enough to pick a fight until she got pregnant. I think the meeting was very realistic, not overly sweet, happy falling into each other's arms because they are strangers. Yes, definitely. What gave me the ick, I have to say that that meeting did give me the ick, was about how, like, Lauren was very reasonable. It felt like as you say, like, it felt very realistic. They don't know each other, and especially Lauren had big doubts about the mother, so that was very understandable. But I hated the things Olamina said and how she treated Lauren at the meeting. I was like, no, just shut up. Like, you're making it so much worse. Just shut up. I didn't like her. She felt like a cult leader. She felt like some arrogant person, arrogant, rich, white man who thinks the entire world lies at her feet. Um, which is funny considering, but yeah, I just did not like the way Olamina managed that meeting at all. I thought that that sucked. Um, I agree the ending was quite realistic. I just hate how the daughter still stuck with Marcus even though he had lied continually. Yeah, that I thought she would be angry at Marcus for lying about the mother. Like, even if you don't like her, like, you should still be pissed, right? Like, that's a big thing to lie about. But I also understand why she wanted to keep the relationship with Marcus, because she felt like he's the only family, what, like, he's her father kind of. So you don't just want to lose family just because of some lie that, you know is you're mad about just because of principle. I don't think she was mad about it um because she would have had a great relationship with her mother or whatever. I think she was just mad because he lied about a big thing. But I don't know. I don't know. If my uncle would lie about it, I don't think I could ever forgive him. I would never be able to trust him again. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that, but I also think she was in a very, like, specific situation where she doesn't have a family. The uncle is the only family she has, the only person she ever trusted because her parents were abusing her. It was the only man who actually loved her without trying to take advantage of her. So she definitely created this kind of bond with him that is not gonna be that easy to break or get rid of. And even if you are mad, like, he's still your family and he's still the only thing you have in the world. So it's not that easy to walk away from if you have nothing else. And if you suffer through so much as she did. And if your mother is such a lunatic as her mother was. Um, so yeah, she should be more mad, but I also understand why she wasn't as mad as we would be. Does it make sense? The typical victim of gaslighting can't easily let go and move on. She was still too attached. I mean, where was she gonna go? Where was she gonna go? I don't know how old she was. Pretty old, right? At that point, when she finally met the mother, when she finally met. When did they meet? How old was Lauren? 2035? Early 30s, I believe, the daughter. So the daughter was about 30 years old. He was 54. So yeah, she was about 30. But still, she was like, she had nobody else still, no? She didn't have like a family of her own. You know, it's hard to leave family behind. Someone who got you through some hard times. Like, and I don't know if he was gaslighting her. He just lied. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was that bad. What, like, it was horrible what he did, but I don't know. It's just like they're not just random friends. They're family, and he changed the way she saw the world. So like, I don't think it's that simple. Or am I also being a victim of gaslighting? But I don't think so, because I know what gaslighting is, and I can spot it before many other people can. Um, I just can't get over the fact he lied and told Olamina her daughter was dead when the whole time he was raising her. Yeah. I mean, did Olamina was mad at her? That yes, like that definitely. But I'm thinking Lauren in Mark more is the tricky relationship. While Olamina and Mark, like, no discussion. He totally screwed up. Interesting. I don't remember it being that way. I, on the other hand, didn't like how Lauren went into that. She wasn't open minded, or at least a bit curious at all. I felt like she wasn't trying at all. That is true as well. Um, yeah. Was she brainwashed? Wasn't it because all the media and everything were saying about how like cultist she is, Olamina, and how crazy and like, I don't know, wasn't there something like this? Like, she had kind of like an opinion on her before she went to meet her. So again, I guess you have some kind of expectation if you're going to meet your mother for the first time after 30 years. And if everybody talks about her as this cultist fanatic, then you go in really careful and defensive. I don't know. I feel like it's a very tricky situation. And I agree with you, Elena, especially because she was treated badly before and is the only one she trusted. The betrayal must hurt then even more. Yeah, early 30s, yes. I don't know how old Lauren was. Maybe not gaslighting, but definitely manipulating. Blood of the Covenant is thicker than water of the womb. The OG saying says, your chosen family is more important than the one you were born in, especially if they lie and or abuse. Um, I could go on and on about that. I could. I think it depends on culture, where you come from, depends on how you were raised, depends on what you were told as a child, what you believe, and what you feel. Um, I agree on some level with what you say. So like the family you choose is more important than the one you're born into. However, it's not that easy. So Lauren is Olamina, the daughter's name is Asha or something. So I've been saying it wrong all along. Okay. Lauren. I thought Lauren was the daughter. Olamina and the daughter is Asha Larkin. She was something, right? Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, you're right. Now, for me, Mark doesn't receive any forgiveness or understanding for lying to his sister and Lauren, especially because it's family. But that's true. That is different for everyone. Not everyone has the same concept of family. Agree on there being a cultural part in it. Yeah. So um, he doesn't receive any forgiveness from Olamina. 100% agree. Oh, and I just went with it and called her Lauren. Yeah, sorry, my bad, my bad. But yeah, I think we all, most of us know what we're talking about. Asha, right? She was Asha or something. What was she? Was she Asha? I think you're right, Lauren. Larissa. My gosh, what's wrong with me? Lauren Oya Olamine. Lauren is the mother. Daughter, I'm sorry, says my Uncle Mark. What did Mark tell you? He took care of me. He saw to it that I got to go to college and that I had a good place to live. He and I, well, we're a family. We didn't have anyone before we found one another. She's brainwashed for sure into the Christian Asha. Her name is Asha. Asha Vere. Um, but yeah, so like definitely doesn't deserve forgiveness from the sister. However, from the niece, I have very confused, like mixed feelings on that. I think it's more complicated than just he lied to me. Depends on the relationship they had and what he did for her, what kind of state she was in when he found her. Um, she just ran away from home because she was abused and he found her. And I feel like that's a big bonding situation if he was good to her, which he was. She had some trauma there as well. So I'm not saying, like, I'm not justifying it that he lied to her or anything. It just feels it's not easy to ditch your family. Like, you do consider pros and cons when you are trying to ditch your family. It's not that simple. Um, I don't know. I could talk about this a lot. Um, and I'm sure many people have different experiences, but the way I was raised, family comes before everything. And that brings a lot of guilt if they betray you, but you're still supposed to care for them. So on one side, you want to care about yourself and you know they did something wrong, but on the other side, you also feel like, well, you can't just leave them because they are your family. And these two things are two separate things. But if you were raised the way I was, it's one and the same thing. And it's extremely painful and very hard to deal with. So that's why I feel like it is not as simple as that to just say he lied to me, so I don't want to talk to him again. Um, because I feel like the lie, it was a big lie, but for her, it wasn't that big a deal. It didn't change anything for her. She finally got to meet her mother, and she doesn't want to again. So for her, I don't think it was that big a deal. So you kind of need to consider pros and cons of the situation. And I don't know. I understand why she wasn't that mad at him. but she should have been more. But also she was through some hell, so I don't know. Asha was definitely manipulated by Marcus, but I also understand it. It was the first love she had, being shown that she could remember. And if you are so love starved, you will forgive anything. Yes and no. Yeah, exactly. Like, and let's not forget they are family. Let's not forget that. He is her uncle, and he took care of her. He put her to college. He helped her when nobody else would. He loved her when nobody else would. So there is a big bond there, and it's just yeah. Was she manipulated? I don't know if manipulated is the correct word. He lied. He plain lied. Could be form of manipulation. Not the manipulation in the way I understand it, but I guess in the general term, yeah. Mm. Anyway, should we go? Um, but yeah, I actually think this is very interesting because all of us saw this last meeting so differently, and that's kind of what like stuck with me. The last meeting where Olamina looked totally bonkers, and Lauren was a bit like a teenager, even though she was in her 30s. Not Lauren, the doctor. Whatever, you know what I mean. Um, so it was very interesting meeting, and very interesting situation. So another like fantastic portrayal of human mind. It feels like so that was something I was really excited to discuss. I find it so fascinating right now. I was raised with a completely different view on family. So fascinating how this changes the way you receive a story. Yeah, there you go. What view were you like? What kind of view is that you have? Completely different view on family. I thought that was everywhere. Like everybody thinks or everybody says that the family is the most important thing. Whatever happens in the family stays in the family. You're not supposed to talk about anybody about your family negatively outside because that's nobody's business. It's within your family. Like, give me a break. Now I'm old enough to know it's a bunch of crap. But if your family still like, one thing is what you're raised with, it just sticks. It doesn't leave you. Another thing is that your family still expects the same thing. Even if you move on and you find out what like things are different, they still expect the same thing. So it's very hard to navigate. It's not easy. So just to say that your found family is more important than your blood family is simply not true. So like it could apply to, or like it does apply to certain situations, but you can't just plain out say that. It doesn't work that way. It depends very much on situation and on culture and everything. Yes, I agree. Great storytelling with having that meeting in the end. Yes. Okay, should we go through Copal or are we tired? Is it late? Because it is late. Maybe we could just quickly go through the Copal. What do you guys think? I haven't rated it yet. Um, for me, it's more like a safe space with lots of fun, but not that close. And my parents both weren't close with their parents and siblings, so they had a lot of friends visiting instead. Okay. So I kind of grew up in an extended found family. Okay. Okay. Yeah, not me. I mean, my dad had a few friends that we used to hang out with, but and used to also go on vacation with and with their families. But then it stopped when I was maybe like 12, 10, I don't know. And then no more friends really. I don't know. We have a strange family. Let's not discuss my family. That's not a joyful topic. Mm, okay. So should we go first? We have characters. If you want to talk about characters, how are the characters? Were they easily distinguishable? were the side characters important and good and memorable? What did we think about the characters? Um, was it character driven book or was it plot driven book? I think it was. I think it's a golden middle way, right there in the middle. And I think characters were great. I think everybody was their own person, um, and very believable with what they went through. I really liked it. I wouldn't put 10, but I think I could put like 8 at least. Let's put 8 for now. Um, yeah, if there is. Did you care about what happens to the characters? Were they flat and one dimensional? I don't think so. They all had some backstory and things going on and connected to the story very much. So I really enjoyed that. I think the characters were great. I actually like these ones better than in the previous books. I'm gonna put it 8.5 actually. Um, I'm hopping off. Good night. Thank you very much for joining and discussing. Hope you have a good night. I found Asha's POV very interesting. It was sometimes hard to read, but her pointing out her mom's flaws all the time pointed out something that was a bit missing in the first book. Yes, 100%. Um, I agree. That was really well done. Now we know her name, Asha. Mm. Yeah, so I give 8.5. Next category we have atmosphere. How immersive was the read? Were you able to picture the setting, the characters, creatures? Was the energy in the scenes palpable, or was it not very convincing? I think the energy was spot on. Atmosphere was spot on. I think there were only a few moments when I wasn't fully in the story, and I needed to kind of like, or I felt like I was just floating. But most of the time, I knew exactly what was happening, and I think the atmosphere was great. So I think I actually feel if maybe the when they were enslaved, I felt like that was a little bit skimmed because I don't think she wanted to focus on that in this book. So it felt like a little bit like yes, they were slaves, but it felt a little bit like we were told, not shown. Even though, of course, we saw a lot of it, but it felt just kind of like shown the start and then they escaped kind of thing. um which like I understand she didn't want to talk about that as like a primary topic in the book, so that's why she skipped through, but I still felt like it was a little lacking something. um Agree again, great with painting scenes and make them feel real. Yes, I think atmosphere I'm gonna put 8 this time. It was very good. I'm gonna put 8.5. There you go. I think that's more like it. Next up, we have writing. Did you enjoy the writing style? Was the prose to your liking, unique? Was it hard to follow or not very readable? How was the dialogue to narration ratio? Did it flow very easily and felt beautiful, effortless? Beautiful but effortless at the same time. Would you be keen on picking up another book from this author, even if it's a different genre? I think here we can say writing was great. There were a few things I was missing, as I already mentioned, so it's not going to be a 10. But now seeing like compared to other books, it was right up my alley. So I think writing is going to get a 9. Writing is great, and I will definitely read more books by Octavia E. Butler. This was my third book from her, so definitely would read more. I enjoyed all of the books. Enjoyed as much as you can enjoy these heavy books, but yeah. Next up, we have plot. Was the pacing good? Were there any parts of the story where you thought things have dragged on and got a bit tedious? Was overall plot satisfying? Were the reveals worth the journey? Was this plot in any way unique from the other books you read? Did it surprise you in any way? Has it left you wanting to know more? Was it too complex, too bland, or just right? I think the plot was just right. I think it did very good job as a sequel, expanding on a book that did not need a sequel. So I think that was great. So I'm gonna give the plot a 9. I love this one. I loved how it explored um, how bonkers it got, and both society and the community and Olamina. So I think that was really good. Um, Next category we have intrigue. Intrigue we have, were you wishing you could be reading this book instead of doing whatever you were doing, or did it take some mental convincing to pick it? Actually, this one I enjoyed a lot. I wanted to read it all the time. Were you intrigued to see where the story goes, what happens to the characters, how this will evolve? Yes. Did the story hold your attention throughout, or was it not consistent? It was very good. When it comes to intrigue, I had a good time, much better than the first one. I see for the first one I gave 6.5. I remember I felt like it was repetitive, but this one worked great. Uh, I thought it was really good. So this one I'm gonna give an 8 for intrigue. Um, if you guys are commenting, I cannot see anything. So I'm just gonna check just in case, because I sometimes it just doesn't work properly. So let me just double check. Okay. Then we have logic. Logic, were the characters acting in accordance to their motives? Were they clear? Were you able to follow the rules of the world? Did you have to stop at any point because things did not make sense? Was the world building sufficient, overwhelming, or clear? Do you think the author has left too much unclear or overburdened you with unnecessary information? No, I think it was perfect, actually. Um, Logic, yeah, the only thing was with the mark that I think that was not that well explained. But otherwise, everything made sense, it felt like. So I'm gonna put logic in like 8.5, actually. And last category, we have enjoyment. How did you enjoy the book? I really enjoyed this one. It was not a 5-star feeling, but I did enjoy it a lot. So this one gets like 8 for enjoyment. So overall, it is 4.5 stars. And I think that is very much according to how I felt about it. Not a 5-star, but a very, very good book that I will remember, and that I'm sure I will kind of like compare all the other post apocalyptic books I read to. I will definitely compare them to this, as I do with the other one that I'm reading or listening to. So, yeah, um, that's that. I don't see any more comments. Did it crash? Let me check, because I thought maybe you just have no opinions, which is completely fine. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Yeah, there we go. There we have a comment. I gave it characters 8, atmosphere 8, writing 6, okay, plot 6, intrigue 7, logic 6, enjoyment 8. So 7 overall, 4 stars. Okay, that's very good. That's nice. But I see you did not enjoy the writing all that much. That's interesting, because I actually did enjoy the writing a lot. But that makes sense. Um, Nice. 4 stars. That's good. Um, Too bad she didn't come up with other books. Oh yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to like, they actually managed to go to the moon. Did they go to the moon or where did they go? She actually did manage to build Earthseed and send them out to the universe. Oh yeah, and the starship was called the Christopher Columbus. I thought that was a little cheap, but whatever. Um, where are they going? Um, it doesn't say. It doesn't say where they're going. The libraries of the Earth go with them. All this is to be offloaded on the Earth's first starship. Um, I don't know where they're going. Are they just gonna float in the universe? I do not know where they went, but she managed to send people off into the space, into the heavens. Not bad, not bad. Yeah. Anyway, so 4.5 stars for this book from me. Very good, enjoyable book. I would be definitely up to read more um, Octavia E. Butler, even with you guys. If you would like, we could do kind of like a Octavia E. Butler read along. So let me know if you would be up for that. Um, I can't remember where they were going, but I like that she finally got her dream realized. Yes, that was definitely cool because it felt the entire time just like some dream she had that's never gonna happen. So it was actually really cool that it did happen in the end. So that was really cool. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, that was Parable of the Talents. And then next week we are going to be discussing Finding the Mother Tree. This is a nonfiction book, so um, go vote on the Discord when you would like to have the live show. There is a poll in the Finding the Mother Tree channel if you want to vote. Uh, there are 3 options: Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So we have maybe only 5 days to read this. So I'm starting tomorrow actually to read this. So we'll see how fast I'll go. But I start this book tomorrow and I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be really interesting with the trees and everything, and especially after we've read the overstory. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited to discuss this one with you. Um, I'm so sorry, I lost internet connection. No worries, no worries. What was your final rating? Mine was 4.5. On Copile, 8.5 out of 10. So total 4.5 stars. What about you? What rating did you get? Um, but yeah, that's that's that. I'm really glad we read this one as well. I don't know if I would ever get to this one if you guys didn't say that you wanted to read this together. I don't know if I would get to this one. So I'm really glad we did because I like this one more than the first one, to be honest. And yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday for the sprints. I hope I'll be able to. I think my voice has been doing well, even though it is now tired. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. And it's now really tired. So um, it did well. I talked for over an hour and it's fine. So it definitely can manage also sprints on Tuesday. So I will set the sprints for Tuesday. Hopefully it works. And I'll see you there. And if not at the sprints, I will see you next week discussing Finding the Mother Tree. I'm super excited about that one. So, yeah, I rated it 4.5 too. That's good. Nice. Um, yeah, is there anything else we should discuss? I don't think so. I don't have any more thoughts that I wanted to pick, but I also read it like over a week ago, so I'm sure I forgot lots of things I wanted to discuss. I need to start taking notes. I used to, but not this time. Thanks so much for hosting this great discussion again. Yeah, I'm glad. I think it was a good discussion as well. We always find some topics, some serious topics to discuss. I like it. It's really good. So thank you for joining. Thank you for live. It's been great. Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me and wanting to read the book with me. So yeah, let's go read more for the amazing readathon. We have what, 8 hours left? Less than 8 hours? No. Yes. Right? I don't know. So yeah, thank you very much for hanging out. Good night and see you on Tuesday. Exactly. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of the evening or have a good night. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. Bye.